So hello everyone. In the last lecture, we talked about the different position time graph, velocity time graph and acceleration time graph. And then we also understood that the slope of velocity time graph gives you acceleration of an object and the slope of displacement time graph gives you velocity of an object, right? Then after that we learned that if I take an acceleration time graph, then area under that curve will give you change in velocity of an object, right? And then we also learned that from the velocity time graph, if I calculate the area under the curve, we get the displacement of an object and just the displacement and the information about the initial and the final position of an object get lost. Okay. So now moving further, till now we have learned how to calculate the average quantities in an interval of time, right? But for example, if an object is moving with certain initial velocity and it is accelerating and I want to calculate the final velocity of an object, then I need something more. We need to write the kinematic equations. The most important point to note is that these kinematic equations, they will be, which I am going to write is, will be valid only for the constant acceleration, because in order to prove that from the beginning I will assume that. Okay. So kinematic equation of kinematic equations for constant acceleration. Okay, this is a very important point. Okay, now let me give you a situation where an object is moving with some initial velocity u. I can also take the object to be moving from rest, right? But now I want to write more general equation. So an object is moving with certain initial velocity u. Okay, object moving with initial velocity u. So basically when the object is moving with velocity u, I start my stopwatch. Okay, that is the meaning of that. And acceleration is constant with moving with initial velocity u and with constant acceleration a. And after time t, its velocity will become v, right? Because the object is accelerating, so its velocity will change. At present I am taking motion in one dimension only. All these, whatever we have learned, it can be extended to 2 and 3 dimensions. Okay. So now if I want to plot the graph between velocity and time, this is velocity. So at time t is equal to 0, the object is not at rest. The object is moving with some initial velocity u. So this is u at time t is equal to 0, and then it is moving with a constant velocity. The slope of velocity time graph gives you acceleration. If the object is moving with a constant acceleration, the slope of velocity time graph should be constant, right? So, and we know that slope of a straight line is constant. So the graph will look like this, and in how much time? This is time t, right? So how do I write the acceleration? Acceleration will be v minus u over t, right? First, so if I multiply this a into t, v minus u, u is the initial velocity of an object at time t is equal to 0 and v is the velocity of an object at time t. Now I can write, by taking u on the left hand side, v is equal to u plus at. This is not something new. We have already learned the definition of average acceleration, rate of change of velocity of an object, right? Delta v over delta t. Delta t is t here because I am taking the object at time t is equal to 0. The object with initial velocity u at time t is equal to 0. So, from this same definition of acceleration, we get the first kinematic equation which will help us to find velocity of an object moving with some initial velocity u, moving with a constant acceleration a, and after time t, what will be its velocity. Okay, now I want to find the displacement of this object. Okay, that in time t, how much is the displacement of an object? So, displacement is a vector quantity, right? Basically, it is the difference between the initial and the final position. So, object was here and now the object has velocity, but this is a velocity time graph. So, from velocity time graph, how do I calculate the displacement? That also we have learned in the last lecture, that the area under the velocity time graph will give you the displacement of an object. Okay, so we are going to use that. So please note, I am assuming that the acceleration of an object is constant. So here, how do I calculate the area of the curve? So I can divide this into two pieces. So this is a triangle and this is a rectangle. In order to find the area under this curve between the x-axis and the curve, we need to add the area of the triangle plus rectangle. Okay? So how do I do that? Let me change the slide. Once again I can draw the, so this is the first kinematic equation. Now I am going to find the displacement of an object. Okay? Once again I draw the graph. This is v, velocity, time, t in seconds, and this is meter per second. Okay? And this is u, this is v. This is time t. Okay? So, this is 0, A, B, C, D. I am just marking the point so that it becomes easy for us. Now, the displacement of an object is given by area under the velocity time graph. Right? Let me, we also denote displacement with x, we also denote by s. Okay? So in many books they denote by s. So let us take s. So s, this will be equal to, where s is the displacement, area of triangle ABC plus area of rectangle OACD. Okay. Now how do we calculate the area of a triangle? Half into base into height, right? So this is half. Base is how much? AC, that is equal to T, right? Height is how much? BC. So this is equal to V minus U, right? Because this coordinate is V and this is U on y-axis. This height will be V minus U. This is the area of the triangle. Now let us take the area of the rectangle plus half plus not half. So this is the area of rectangle is length into breadth. So the length into breadth is how much? The OA is the breadth, which is equal to U, and again the length is T, U into T, right? Okay. So now this is equal to, I'll just solve this. So I want to write in terms of acceleration. So first I am writing the term ut plus half v minus u into t, right? I just multiply with t and divide by t. There is no change in the equation. Okay, I can do that. what will be the benefit? Let us see. So that will be equal to half v minus u over t. This t I take with this, and this is left with t square. Now we know what is this. V minus u over t is what? We have already defined, that is the acceleration of an object, right? Rate of change of velocity. So what do I get? S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is the second kinetic equation, which will give you, if an object is moving with initial velocity u, okay, and acceleration a, then in time t, the displacement of an object is given by this equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, but here we have assumed that object has started at time t is equal to 0. It is at the origin, right? It is also possible that the object has some initial position s naught. Then we have to include that also. Okay. So basically S is the displacement from the origin. If the object is at initial position, then what will be the displacement? The final position minus initial position. Okay. So your equation will be modified. S will become x minus x naught. Okay, where x naught is the initial position of an object. Okay, so one has to be careful while using this equation, because that S is the displacement and the initial position of an object is at the origin. I am taking here. So this is the second kinematic equation. Now there will be one more kinematic equation which is very useful when we do not require the information of time. Okay, and we will find out that by using these first two kinematic equations. How to do that? So we have already derived v is equal to u plus at, first equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, where u is the initial velocity of an object, v is the final velocity after time t, and a is the constant acceleration of an object, and s is the displacement of an object. Okay, displacement of an object. Okay, so now here, so it is not that we cannot solve for the motion of an object if the acceleration is not constant, but again if the acceleration is not constant, we have to bring in the idea of calculus, okay, which we'll do little later, where we have to write acceleration as a function of time. Okay, but here we are taking constant acceleration. So now in order to get an equation without time, what we will do? We substitute the value of t from equation first into second. Okay, so t is equal to v minus u over a from equation 1, right? That I can substitute in second equation. So what do I get? S is equal to u v minus u over a plus half a v minus u over a whole square. Okay, simple. Now S is equal to uv minus u square. I am just simplifying it. 1a will cancel, plus half v square plus u square minus 2uv. Okay, and we are left with only 1a in the denominator, right? Because this is a square, this is a, 1a will cancel. Now this is equal to uv over a minus u square over a plus v square over 2a plus u square over 2a, and then from the last term minus uv over a. You should get these terms. and from here these two terms will cancel. V square over 2a, u square over 2a and minus u square over 2a, these two terms will combined. Okay. So what will I get? I just make it little small. S is equal to v square over 2a minus u square over 2a. Okay. 2a you take on the left hand side. So what do we get here is, we get from here 2as is equal to v square minus u square, or v square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the third kinematic equation. Okay, these three equations will be very useful. For example, in such kind of questions where you do not require the information of the time, then you can save your time by using this third equation. It is not that you cannot solve by using the first two equation, but in certain situations this equation is going to be very useful. Okay, so these are the three kinematic equations, first, second and third, which will help you to give the instantaneous values of the velocity of an object at time t. Okay, we are going to do some examples which will make it much more clear how to use these equations. Okay, another important point is that here I have written these equations when the object is moving in one dimension, right, on the road, for example. These equations are also valid for the vertical motion, for the free fall problems. Why? Because in the free fall, for example, if I have a ball and I leave a ball, right, then what is the acceleration of that ball? The acceleration of that ball in free fall will be acceleration due to gravity, which is also constant, right? And we will see that on the surface later on in the gravitation chapter. We are going to learn that on the surface of the earth we take acceleration due to gravity as constant, and its value is 9.8 meter per second square. I am going to show you how do you get that value, but as of now we will just take the value acceleration due to gravity as 9.8 meter per second square on the surface of the earth. If you go to some other planet, that value will change. Okay, so these equations, because again the acceleration due to gravity is going to be constant, so these equations will be valid for the free fall problems. Okay, so now let us do some problems. Okay, excuse me. So let us do some examples how to use these equations.